Hello, welcome back. It's Alexander Sebastian with our 19th edition of Parents as Partners. And today we're going to talk about the 8 skills that every child needs to master. Now these are important everyday skills that you can have an opportunity to let your child learn and practice while they're growing up. So, today our kids, especially if your kids are expat kids, they don't really have much to do. They go to school and they play in sports activities organized by the school. They come home. They probably don't have too many contacts outside the school environment, especially if they're expat kids. And they spend a lot of time on their social media and in entertainment. And all this time that they're on the social media and in entertainment, they're not getting out the life skills that they're going to be needing once they leave the home. Let's look at those skills. The first skill, I think, is that they need to be able to feed themselves. That's rather important. So can your child plan a healthy diet? Do they know what a healthy diet is? Can they plan a healthy diet? And do they know how to go shopping for the elements that they need to make that meal? Do they know how to watch the budget and compare costs and volume in products that they're going to be purchasing? And then do they know how to cook the meal safely? We're going to deal with that later. The second skill is do they know how to get useful information and be lifelong learners? Thirdly, do your children know how to manage money? Do they have an online bank account? Very helpful. There's no reason why you can't open a bank account in your home country for your child under your main account. Most bank accounts offer the opportunity to have one main account and then sub-accounts, and so you can open up a bank account in your child's name where money can be deposited and they can see how it grows if they manage it correctly, and how to access it on the internet. Very important. Do they know how to order things online and use credit cards digitally? Do they know how to change money? The fees that are involved in changing money. Do they know the difference between a credit card and a debit card? Do they know how to budget the money? I would suggest that if you give your son or daughter an allowance, that you start out with a weekly allowance and then move to 2 weeks and see if they can manage it over 2 weeks, or do they spend it all in the first week? And then once they've managed the 2 weeks, give it to them once a month and see if they can manage and get through the months. If they can get through that 1 month managing their allowance, then they're probably better off than most adults who, when it comes to the 3rd week or the 4th week before the paycheck comes in, are scraping for cash. Number 4 skill, do your children know how to interface with machines? Can your children use a bank machine? Do they know how to use a automatic passport reader at the airport? Can they buy tickets from ticket machines? Do they know how to use the computer in more ways than just as a communication device? And more simple machines, they know the different types of screwdrivers and how to use one, pliers, other simple tools. Can they turn off the gas in the house or water? If there's water damage, do they know how to turn it off? Do they know how to change a plug on a electrical appliance? Do they know how to do ironing? Do they know how to turn on the stove? Do they know how to turn on the heating and air conditioning in the house? Can they change a light bulb? Can they change batteries in a camera or any device? These simple skills on how to interface with the machinery, turn it on, turn it off, simple repairs, checks. Go out to the trash and bring in the irons that have been thrown away, or a electric light, and bring them in, take it apart, take these machines apart. Skill number 5. Do they know how to bring order out of chaos? When they do the dishes at night, do they do it in an orderly way and aware that starting with ungreasy things and working towards the pots and the pans? Can they put order in the room? Do they keep order in their room? Can they put order in their ideas? When they pack their bags, do they put it in an orderly way that the things that they'll be needing if it rains, that their umbrella or raincoat is on the top? Can they organize their papers before they go on a trip so that they know where their passports are? Tickets. An idea organizing skill goes well with number 6 skill, which is time management, because a person who knows how to organize things and knows how to manage their time are well on their way to success. Time management skill is not complicated. Do they know how to estimate reasonably the time it takes to get something done and to plan an activity when they're going to do it and carry it out? Do they know how to stay off social media until they get things done? Number 7 is, again, something that they won't be learning in school, and they should be, and it's much more important than a lot of the other topics they're studying, and that is self-promotion. Are your children aware that the way they speak, the way they dress, the way they act, the way they look at people, the way they talk to people can have a big impact on how the other person is going to perceive them and how the other person is going to be open to accepting their ideas or not? So it's up to us as parents to teach our children that when they address an adult or a stranger, they need to address that person not the same way that they address another child in their class, but with respect, and that listener will give your child respect in return and will be open to what the child is asking and opening to help that child. Table manners is another way of selling oneself and showing that one has a certain class. Giving good impressions is not a bad thing. It's a tool to get what we want. And our children should be aware of it. A good handshake, whether you're a male or female, it's quite acceptable now. Language registry, saying hello, and with their teachers, selling themselves to their teachers, saying hello in the hallway, saying hello if you meet your teacher in the shopping center, being polite. In Asia, a slight bow, that's also something that is nice anywhere, just a sign of respect. Saying have a nice day. So simple recognition goes a long way in selling oneself. So self-promotion is number 7. And the last skill that children should learn, especially by the time they're in high school, is how to respond in case of emergency. Do they know where to find those emergency telephone numbers that I hope you've posted on your refrigerator? Do they know, first of all, and in the case of emergency, number 1 thing is that they should be protecting themselves. If it looks like it's a very dangerous situation, they just need to get out. Simple enough. Get out. Save yourself first. Just like they say in the airplane, put the oxygen mask on yourself first. So this is number 1. Secondly, if they're not in physical danger, then how to manage the situation. If it's a fire, do they know how to use a fire extinguisher? Most people have never used one in their lives. Well, that's a small insurance policy for your kids. Take them out in the yard and open that fire extinguisher. Let them try it. Do they know the difference between different types of fire on the stove and how to put out a fire from grease? Do they know how to shut off the electricity if there's electrical fire in one of the sockets? Do they know how to put a tourniquet on? Do they know where the first aid kit is? Do they know how to put a Band-Aid on and how to stop bleeding? Simple things, but could have such a huge impact in one's life. So these are 8 simple things that can really impact a child, and if he has those, by the time he graduates from high school, he's well on his way to being an independent adult. So in summary, just to go over those 8 skills again. First of all, can your child plan a meal and feed himself for at least a week and manage the budget? Second of all, does your child know how to get useful information, ask good questions, and interface with the sources of information? Number 3, can they manage money? Do they know how to use the digital economy? Manage a budget for at least a month. Fourth of all, does your child know how to interface with machines? In bus stations, in train stations, at home, of course, with their computer. And number 5, can your child bring order? Number 6, can they time manage? Can they estimate how long it takes to do something? Number 7, does your child know how to self-promote? Children should learn, especially by the time they're in high school, is how to respond in case of emergency. Okay, so this is Alexander Sebastian with Parents as Partners. So thank you again for tuning in, and hope to see you next time. Please subscribe.